Today I want to share with you one of the best parenting ideas that I've ever had. What's cool about this is that anyone can do this with their kids, and it's going to help you have fun with your kids, take adventure with your kids, to travel with your kids, to make memories with your kids, to bond with your kids, to give your kids stories that they can tell, new experiences they can have, they'll remember for years to come. I kind of stumbled onto this idea by accident. One day I heard this rumor that Frontier Airlines had these flights that were $15, and I was like, no way they had flights for 15 bucks. I looked into it and found out that it's actually true. There are certain times, certain sales they have that for $15 each way you can get flights. So I'm looking at this and I see a flight that goes from Denver to Dallas, 15 bucks, and I think, man, I should just go to Dallas for the day, just for the fun of it. I've never been to Dallas. And then it clicks in my mind, my son Levi loves airplanes, he loves flying, and so I thought I could take Levi just for the sake of going on an airplane ride to Dallas for the day. And so we found a trip that went there in the morning and came back at night, and I booked it all. I took Levi for one day to Dallas, and he had a great time. We had fun. Well, we got home from that trip, and my other son, Judah, says, Dad, when do I get to go to Dallas? And I was like, oh, you want to go too? So I looked up, found another cheap flight, took Judah to Dallas a couple months later, and then we got home from that trip. And then Zion, my other son, says, Dad, when do I get to go on a trip with you to Dallas? And well, at that point, the Dallas flights weren't on sale anymore, but then a couple months went by and I found some cheap flights from Denver to Los Angeles. And so I was like, sweet, let's go to LA. So I took Zion on a trip from Denver to LA for the day. And it kind of inadvertently started this tradition, because then Levi was like, well, it's my turn again. When do I get to go on a trip? Now I want to go to LA. And it started this tradition where I'm just constantly having my radar up for cheap flights. And when we can find a flight that matches our schedule, that matches everything, lines up, boom, we book it. And I take another boy one-on-one on one of these one-day trips to somewhere else in the world. And it's totally fun. It creates memories. The boys love it. And it's actually very affordable. So really, that's the idea. Is it's a one-day trip where you fly somewhere, hang out for the day, and then fly back that night. This way, you don't have to pay for a hotel, you don't have to pay for a lot of things. You just have to find a cheap flight, maybe buy lunch or pay for whatever you're going to do when you're in that city. Then you come home and you're going to make memories that are going to last you for years and years with your kids. There's the idea. I want to encourage you to steal the idea and use it for yourself. A couple tips that I've learned after doing several of these trips. Number one is if you're going to do this, you have to live near an airport that has discount airline type things. Frontier Airlines does this, Spirit Airlines does this, and maybe there's others that do it, but if you don't live near one of those airports, it's probably going to be tough to pull this off. But if you do, score. What you got to do is sign up for their emails, because they send emails whenever they have these sales. Trick is, usually the sale window is only like one day. You got to look at so then you got to go look at the schedules, find one that goes there in the morning, comes back at night, and then if so, then you got to book it right away, because you have to decide quickly if you're going to do these things. It also helps to have a flexible schedule, because usually the cheap flights are on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Saturdays. Sometimes Thursdays, sometimes other Sundays, but my limit is like $25 or under for each leg of the trip. Otherwise it's gonna be not really worth the price and all that kind of, and the hassle and all that. You don't need to pack a bag, you don't need to carry on. All you need is literally like a backpack or something. You can carry a few things and maybe a jacket or something, because you're just gonna be there for one day. Then before you go to the city, you want to research what can you do, how are you gonna get around. There's a lot of kind of details to it, but really the heart behind this is find a flight that'll go there in the morning, back at night. It's a great deal, and then book that thing, and boom, you're ready for a memory-making day with one of your kids or two of your kids or whatever. I try to do it one-on-one, but you can do it one-on-two, one-on-three, one-on whatever. So steal my idea. Hopefully you'll steal it. If you do, I'd love to hear about it. You might have to take off work for a day, and you're like, oh, I got to take my kid out of school. Yes, you got to take your kid out of school for the day. I have found it 100% worth it. Your kid is not going to remember that day they missed at school. They will remember for years the time you and them flew to Los Angeles and hung out on the beach for the day when it was winter, and then you went to summer and then back to winter. Another challenge with this is it becomes a really long day. You're driving to the airport, and then you're flying, and then you're taking public transportation to wherever, or you're Ubering, and then you're hanging out, then you're flying back and driving back. So it's a long day, but 100% worth it. So usually what I do is I take some video clips, take some pictures during these trips, and then literally on the flight home, I'll try to quickly edit together a video that the boys can then see and to remember the trip, to show their friends, to show their family and everything. And so I'll link all the videos that we've done from the trips that we've done over the years, so you can kind of see some examples of places we've gone and things we've done. I've taken my kids to LA, I've taken my kids to Dallas, I've taken them to Salt Lake City, Kansas City. Tomorrow, the reason I'm making this video is tomorrow I'm taking them to Washington, D.C., from Detroit to Washington, D.C. Stoked about that. So anyways, I'll link all those videos. You can check out the ones we've done in the past, and then go and make some of your own. That's my idea. It's not all that creative, but it's produced some really great memories and great fun and great bonding for me and my kids over these last couple of years. Hoping I'm going to continue to do it. Anyways, there's my idea. Use it, have fun,